Welcome back to A Celtic State of Mind. I'm Paul John Dykes. My comrade to my left is Kevin Graham. This is the halftime analysis show of St Johnstone 0, Celtic 2. Kevin Graham, I'm just saying there, nice and positive. It's going to be a nice, positive halftime show.
We've been entertaining, we've been engaging, we've scored 2 good goals. Hey, I mean, for all the worries, as Sean Cochrane actually says, Barkas caught a cross. And what a counter-attack he set off as well, when he actually caught that cross.
He did,
So yes, all the fears that we had before the game haven't really came about. I mean, we done more in that first 9 minutes than what we done all game against St Mirren, and the boys that we wanted to step up are contributing. They're absolutely contributing. Guys like McCarthy, big beat on rampaging about the place as if he's like the Israeli Lionel Messi. And like Tom Rogic is having a good game as well. Joey Dawson's came on, scored a couple of great touches, and I was talking about Abada in the pre-game, wanting him to contribute. He's contributed with 2 goals and he's looked sharp going through the middle. All is good after the first 45 minutes.
All is good. Kev, we spoke in depth through that team line. We didn't think it was going to be 3 at the back. Seems to be working well. But I've got to have to say this, right? This isn't a I told you so, but Liam Scales, left wing. That's all right, eh?
Aye. Well, none of us predicted. I had it. I'm not going to go back, but my notes had it a 4-3-3. I didn't expect Juranovic and Scales to be wing backs, but it's worked. It has worked, and Scales has looked the part. It was a bit unlucky there just before half time when the ball got caught underneath his feet. He didn't actually ken where it was, but good luck to him. I'm well impressed by the way that we've stepped up. We still have that style. We've still got that Postecoglou style, even though we've changed the formation. And it's just the longer balls that we're playing for the middle of the park as well, mainly McCarthy. It's just giving our centre forward, whether it was Kyogo, Abada or now Dawson, a chance to burrow round and run. And actually turn their defence. And that was something we didn't do against St Mirren, but then saying that, St Mirren sat that deep, they were virtually in the secret bunker, which is just outside Fife somewhere.
It is so secret, in fact, that there's signs on the road as you move into St Andrews. But when you're talking about Dawson, I like to see young players coming through. Of course I do. And I think he is doing okay. It'll be interesting to see him in the second half to see the type of player that he is, because he's not put a foot wrong yet, but he's not had much of the ball. It's unfortunate that he has been introduced for the reasons that he has, though, because obviously Kyogo's pulled up again. The last thing that we wanted to see was Kyogo pulling up with a hamstring injury, Kev. But I don't think, people are saying, why was he played? I don't think Ange Postecoglou had much of a chance. He didn't have much option, really, did he?
Damned if you do and damned if you don't, eh? Look, obviously, he was fit enough to, well, he was never 100% fit. He was never 100% fit last Sunday. He wasn't fit enough to play at the weekend. Today was an utter risk playing him. But obviously they go with the player, they go with the manager. The manager says, if I can get an hour out of him, he's fine. He chased that ball over the top of hammies when these things happen. We can't moan about it. It's another hindsight, well, maybe we shouldn't have done it. Seeing how the game's actually turned out. If that was a tight game and Kyogo had been sitting on the bench or could have played, then everybody's shouting, you should have risked him. Because the game's turned out after the first 45 minutes, it's a bit comfortable at this precise moment in time. Everybody's going, why did you risk him? Well, we risked him because we haven't got any games until the middle of January. We thought, the coaching staff, medical staff, the player must have thought, I can actually do this. Hasn't worked out for us. We just need to get on with it. Abada stepped up to the plate. Young Dawson stepped up to the plate. Tom Rogic is doing enough for other people as well. We just need to move on. Ange Postecoglou could never have won with this decision today.
No, you're right. And I think that, in the first 12 minutes, we set up our stall. We have basically won the game in that opening period as well. And Kyogo was a big part of that. You mentioned earlier on there a pass from McCarthy. Kev. Absolutely outstanding, because we did talk about it before the game, that type of pass that he can play, and he played a tremendous ball over the top. Very similar, in fact, to the cup final one, where Kyogo he just doesn't take his eye off the ball. Didn't turn out as a goal on this occasion. But that's what McCarthy gives us, and I think that's been quite an impressive first half by James McCarthy.
It was. He also won the ball back in the middle of the park for the first goal. Yeah. He nearly injured himself doing it, right enough. And you have to have a look. It's a great ball. Juranovic and Abada are quick. Then Juranovic takes over. Abada goes into the middle. It's a fair shot by Abada. It's a good save by the goalkeeper. But one thing to say, Abada had no right to win that header. No right whatsoever to win that header or shoulder or however he bundled it in. If I was a St Johnstone fan, which I'm not, I'll be looking at the two centre halves there, but stuff that I know Abada done really well. But you had no right to win that header.
The interesting thing about that goal, like you say, McCarthy wins the ball. We spoke about him before the game. We said we just need you to perform now, James McCarthy, and I think he's doing that. The other one was we had concerns about Juranovic in terms of his final ball and the crossing, but that was a tremendous cross for the first goal, Kev.
It was. He put in one just earlier as well, which flashed across the face of goal. The guy can play, and what we've maybe got to tailor our expectations is not every cross into the box is going to be a worldie. Not every cross into the box is going to be great. So these guys could sometimes. There's a reason that they're playing for Glasgow Celtic. There's a reason that they're playing in Scotland, and that's because these crosses are going to be overhitting that at certain times, or it's going to be like Wednesday night where we never get past the first man. This is going to happen, so we just need to appreciate when it happens and know that these players have got it in their locker to actually do it. I mean, Abada, I says, hadn't been contributing whatsoever. He contributed at the start of the season. I'm glad we've got a wee reminder of, by the way, this is what this guy can do.
Yeah. This is what he was doing. You're right. Prior to the confidence, perhaps, and the form dipping slightly, Terry Robb comes in. I've been impressed with McCarthy today so far, Terry, but anybody who tunes into Acsom knows that, I'm a big fan. I've been saying he's a dark horse of the transfer window. I've not seen it yet, but performances like that, it's all about contribution, as Kev says. You've got to contribute, and there's a clutch of players in there who weren't contributing. McCarthy was one of them, wasn't getting many games, but he needs to take his chances, few and far between as they have been, and I think he's taken it today. A couple of comments on Abada. Mark McMonigal comes in. Abada, I'm sorry. Happy for the lad getting his confidence back. Kyogo desperately needs this break. Big time. And IH Decorating, good to see you back in the comments. I've been very critical of Abada lately, but he's shown today that he's useful. Never a wide player, much more threat centrally. That is the theory of our very own Jim Orr. Kev, do you think do you agree with that? Do you think he's more of a central player?
I never saw it. I never saw for Jim, but Jim's more intelligent than me. I never saw it whatsoever. But when you actually see today, it's all about movement. It's all about playing on the shoulder, and he has got pace. Also, Jim Orr says it, and also Alan Morrison. Alan Morrison's banged on about it as well, that his statistics actually show that he's a striker. So look, he's doing well, but it's all about we're creating chances. We're moving the ball quicker. We're engaging the front men the way that we didn't engage them the other night there, which is always pleasing. It always gives you that wee bit of a buzz when you're actually creating chances and like just being nice. Being nice to actually watch. Yeah. And it's great. Brilliant.
So far, Mick Carr comes in to remind us it is a makeshift team. I think when you look at it on paper, with Barkas coming in from the cold, Kevin, as someone quite rightly say, caught a corner, so that's progress. You've got Scales down the left, coming in from Shamrock Rovers. You've got Juranovic down the right, playing out of position, as is Scales. And now you've got the big man, Dawson. Basically from Scunthorpe, having made one senior appearance, 18-year-old getting thrown in. So on paper, you're looking at that thinking, wow, that is a makeshift team. But I think this goes back to what Ange was trying to sell us. This is a system. We stick to our principles, and everybody can come in and play that. And if you're at Celtic, you've got to be able to click into Ange Postecoglou's system, Kev. Do you think it was a case of us wanting the adaptability of the team quite a bit earlier in the season? Even against St Mirren, I heard it. You've got to adapt to the team you're playing, the surface you're playing on. But Ange sticks to the system. He's done it today. He's brought in some other players, and they fitted in really, really well.
I still think Ange Postecoglou's football doesn't carry passengers. And at the moment, we've got a lot of passengers on the train who haven't got tickets. And they will eventually disappear. And I think that was a point earlier on in the season where there was guys playing in positions where they didn't suit. You noticed that the last week against Ross County put a Abada through the middle, Abada scored through the middle. Today, he's had a look at the system. The system's what it said, well, I'm bringing on another centre forward. I'm not going to change. I'm not going to need to move 2 or 3 guys round about. I'm doing a like-for-like swap because the system is more important than the personnel that's going into that system.
Did you feel it was quite bold, Kev? Did you think it was quite bold at that stage?
Of course it is. You're only 1-0 up at that point, and you're throwing in a guy. I mean, we're sitting here, and if somebody would have told us in July, by the way, you're going to St Johnstone on Boxing Day, your left back's playing for Shamrock Rovers, and your centre forward's playing for Scunthorpe, we would have went, where in God's earth have we been for the last 6 months? And that's where we are, and we're 2-0 up, and both players are contributing. So it's about a system. It's about players learning how to play what Ange wants to do, and it's not about your status. It's not about. It doesn't seem to be about your status. If you're a centre forward, Postecoglou is going to go at you. By the way, you know what you're meant to do here. You're going to go into that box, and you're going to get measured by the goal. You're going to get measured by the goals that you score. You're going to be measured what you do here. So it is a system, and teams need that. See, we need a structure, and we need this. How many times have you seen teams like playing, like changing? Right, I didn't want to go back to Neil Lennon, but I'm going to go back to Neil Lennon. There was a couple of times he would make a sub, and it would move 4 guys round about the pitch. And how disruptive is that? Today with Roland Dawson, we haven't actually had to move anybody round about the pitch. It's been a straight swap. No,
I totally get that, Kev. And I think that when you're looking at the fact that we're now in a comfortable kind of position, 2-0 up at McDermott's, controlling the game, everything's good. Is there anybody else on that bench that you would like to see introduced? And, because you do look at players like Sorrow and Bolingoli who are not getting much game time. You've got the youngsters in Montgomery and Moffat who we know about. And, of course, you've got Doak. I wouldn't expect him to come on and make his debut at 16 years of age in this game. But is there anybody else on that park that you think, I want to see them getting more minutes?
Obviously, Moffat. You would like to see Moffat coming on, but I think Moffat will now only come on if we get the next goal. If we get the next goal, I can see Moffat getting some. If we get the next goal early in the second half, I can see Moffat getting some decent minutes. But I can't see any midfield changes or any changes at the wing backs at all. I can't see any changes there. If anything, if we score the next goal, hopefully Moffat then gets some more minutes under his belt. Because I think he needs it. I do think he needs it.
If he took a knock in terms of confidence the other night, it would be good to get him back in, Kev, quickly so it doesn't get laboured,
Mind you, the pitch is not the best for silky wing play, right enough. It is a game for James McCarthy shelling balls across the top. The pitch is not the best, but I'm not going to make excuses for him. No, I want to see him getting minutes. He's got to learn, the wee fella. I mean, we want our academy to produce players.
We do.
We really want academy to produce players, so we can't be scared to throw them on.
St Johnstone have just thrown on Chris Kane. Remember his scenario that he was able to punch and kick one of our players and get away with it, and I think Carmen Carter-Vickers got booked for his troubles. We'll see how that goes in the second half, Kev, as we're just about to kick off, but we will be back at full time, so join us on the full-time whistle for a Celtic State of Mind. Thank you, Kevin Graham, for joining us on the Acsom Matchday coverage.